Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. And this is Laborers, Statutes from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. Laborers, statutes of toward the middle of the 14th century, a plague of excessive virulence, known in history as the Black Death, invaded Europe and swept off fully one half of the inhabitants. The death of so many workmen had the effect of advancing the price of all kinds of labor to double the former rate. In England, the Parliament in 1350 enacted a statute which was soon followed by others, the object of which was to regulate the rate of wages and the price of the necessaries of life. Against these enactments, which were called the Statutes of Laborers, the artisans of all kinds rebelled, but the most active opposition was found among the Masons, whose organization, being better regulated, was more effective. In 1360, statutes were passed forbidding their congregations, chapters, regulations, and oaths, which were from time to time repeated until the third year of the reign of Henry VI, AD 1425, when the celebrated statute entitled "Masons shall not confederate themselves in chapters and congregations" was enacted in the following words: whereas by yearly congregations and confederacies made by the Masons in their general assemblies, the good course and effect of the statutes for laborers be openly violated and broken, in subversion of the law, and to the great damage of all the commons, our said sovereign lord the king, willing in this case to provide a remedy by the advice and assent aforesaid, and at the special request of the commons, hath ordained and established that such chapters and congregations shall not be hereafter holden. And if any such be made, they that cause such chapters and congregations to be assembled and holden, if they thereof be convict, shall be judged for felons. And that the other Masons that come to such chapters and congregations be punished by imprisonment of their bodies, and make fine and ransom at the king's will. Findle, following Preston, says that this statute was passed in the Parliament of Bats. But this is erroneous, for the act forbidding Masons to meet in chapters or congregations was passed in 1425 by the Parliament at Westminster, while the Parliament of Bats met at Leicester in the following year. See Bats, Parliament of ELH. Findle thus explains the causes which led to the enactment of this law. Henry VI, being then but 4 years old, Gloucester and the Bishop of Winchester were both contending for the possession of the government. The former was a great patron and encourager of the Masons, who naturally therefore took part with him in the political contest and opposed with actual violence the entrance of the bishop into the city of London. On the arrival of the Duke of Bedford, who was the regent of France, and to whom the dispute had been referred, a parliament was convened, and which, for the reason already assigned, see Bat Parliament, has been known in history as the Bat Parliament. The bishop, not forgetting the assistance given by the Masons to his opponent, succeeded in obtaining the passage of this law, which was to restrain the meetings of his old enemies. But the influence of the Duke of Gloucester prevented its enforcement during the king's minority, and Anderson tells us that the king, when he arrived to man's estate, became the encourager and patron of the Masons, so that, according to the same authority, the law has always existed as a dead letter on the statute book, and the Freemasons have never considered it worthwhile to use their influence for its repeal. All the statutes of laborers were repealed in the 5th year of Elizabeth, and Lord Coke gave the opinion that this act of Henry VI became, in consequence, of no force or effect, a decision which led Anderson very absurdly to suppose that this most learned judge really belonged to the ancient lodge and was a faithful brother. Constitution, 1723, page 57, as if it required a judge to be a Mason to give a just judgment concerning the interests of Masonry. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment, and if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.